Hello students, this is Deepak Pokhariyal, and in this video I'm going to take a passage for note making, and we will follow the procedure which we have discussed in the first video. We will follow that procedure and we will write notes in proper format, in proper note making format. So this is the passage, and the question will read something like this. Read the following passage carefully, and then this is the passage, a passage about this length you will get for making notes, and then it will be followed by questions. A, on the basis of your reading of the above passage, make notes on it using headings and subheadings, recognizable abbreviations they will ask you to use, and they will ask you to write it in proper format. And then question B will read, write a summary of the passage in about 80 words. So they will give you word limit also, sometimes 80 words, sometimes 100 words. It depends on the length of the passage. Now let us first carefully read the passage. I will not explain what is written in the passage. We will just read it. I'll do it exactly the way you should be doing it in the exams. And then after reading the passage, then I will go through the passage once again and underline the important sentences. So let us read. Over 60% of doctors in the country now prefer 1 out of 3 times digital interaction with patients as against the traditional face-to-face interaction, indicating a trend where WhatsApp WhatsApp messages and emails are increasingly being used for consultations. This is slightly lower, but in keep with the trend in the United States, Japan, and China, where a greater number of healthcare profession in certain markets, over 90%, have switched to the digital medium using WeChat, blogs, email, and text messaging to engage with patients for follow-up. Also, a majority of doctors, globally 60%, demand drug companies combine combine the use of digit tablets, iPads, along with direct interactions when medical representatives (MRs) are detailing the portfolio of medicines. These findings are part of the Digital Savvy HCP Healthcare Practitioner 2015, an annual global survey on the digital habits of doctors across the United States, Japan, China, and India by healthcare solutions firm Indigene, shared exclusively with TOI. The survey involved more than 1,600 healthcare professionals across the globe, with 67% specialty doctors and the remaining 33% general practitioners. In India, over 300 doctors were part of the survey with more than 10 years of experience practicing in Tier 1 and Tier 2 places across the country. The survey found that 76% of doctors in the US prefer professional interactions of field force along with detailing with the tablet, while the corresponding figure in India is 90%. As against this, doctors in India prefer a face-to-face detailing with their digital tablets, wherein they meet MRs in their clinics, and the latter is equipped with detailing on their iPads and tablets. Globally, drug companies are increasingly switching to digital channels like emails, websites, web apps, and text messaging due to compliance requirements. The survey says adding 34% of physicians globally value the smartphone as a key resource in seeking medical information. Other devices by doctors are laptops, PCs, and tablets. India sees less than half the global uses of smartphone doctors, while the most preferred device for doctors here is laptops, which is 30%, 34% rather. So this passage is about the doctors, the healthcare industry, and the use of technology, use of uh, they're going digital. So now we have read this passage once. Now we'll once again go through this passage, and this time we are going to underline the important sentences, the sentences where we can get the main ideas for our notes. Like, this first sentence is over 60% of doctors in the country, 60% doctors, digital interaction. Now, these are the phrases which I have underlined here. United States, Japan, and China, they are talking about that 90% those who have switched to digital medium, and the digital mediums they are using WeChats, blogs, emails, text messaging. So like this, we have to read the passage second time also thoroughly, and this time while we are reading we have to underline the important things. We can also underline the entire sentence, no harm in it, but when you are writing your notes, do not copy the language of the passage. This is also very important. Okay, so here MRs are detailing the portfolio of medicines with the help of their digital accessories. Now, now they also talked about the healthcare practitioner 2015 survey, and what they said in survey, that is also written. The survey involved 1600 healthcare professionals across the globe. 67% of them were the specialist doctors and 33% were general practitioners. General practitioners are the general physicians, we call them here in India. And in the survey, 300 doctors were involved and they had more than 10 years of experience. We are underlining everything, which we want to write in our notes. And then it is also said, these this data is also very important, where the number is written 76%, 34%, 34% here, and earlier it said 90% of Indian doctors, they prefer to meet their patients face to face. So we have underlined this. 76% of doctors in the US prefer personal interaction, while in India that ratio, that percentage is 90%. Face to face detailing with their digital tabs. Okay. Now, drug companies drug companies are promoting the use of this technology. They are switching to digital channels like emails, websites, and they are adding 34% of physicians globally value the smartphone as a key resource in seeking medical information. Yes, doctors, they are using their smartphones like we teachers, we are using our smartphones for teaching. Doctors are using it for treating their patients and gaining more knowledge about medicine. But this thing, you don't have to write your views that teachers are using smartphones for teaching. These views you will not write in notes. I was just telling you make you make you understand the use of a smartphone. Okay, so this is how we have underlined everything we wanted to write in our notes. Now here are the notes. You see, at the top in the center, doctors and the digital interaction. This is the topic of our notes. You have to provide this topic in exam. For this you will get 1 mark. Okay, you will lose that 1 mark if you have not given this title. Now then, we have given headings in our notes with capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D, E, F. 6 headings we have given to our notes. Okay, and then like the first heading is the growing preference of digital interaction. This is the first heading. So how can we divide the passage into paragraphs? How can we, we can divide our passage in many ways. We can divide it paragraph wise, we can divide it theme wise, we can divide it in chronological order. So in whatever way you want to divide your paragraph for making your notes, for choosing the headings, you can do that. Okay, so This is the first heading, the growing preference for digital interaction preferred by 60. Now we have written subheadings under it. Preferred by 60% of doctors, uh, choosing above face-to-face interaction with patient, choice of WhatsApp, text message, emails, messaging, use for consultancy. So this is how, first we have written the first heading and then we have written four subheadings, and you see the headings are at one margin, subheadings are at one margin. Subheadings we write wherever subheadings are necessary, like down here, in Roman numbers 1, 1, 2, these are the subheadings. We write subheadings where they are required. Now the second heading, uses in other countries, choice of words, WeChat, blogs, email, text message, engaging with patients for follow-up. Now the heading C, uses among doctors globally, so that data is also written here, which we had underlined while we were reading the passage for the second time. 60% of global demand to drug companies, use of digital tablets and iPads along with direct consultancy used by MR when detailing portfolio for medicines, demand by HCPs of 2015. Now the fourth heading is the findings of indigene company. Indigene company means the native company, the company which is working in the field for a very long time. So that was the survey done by this company. A survey conducted on 16 HCPs globally. Now HCP is an abbreviation, has been used here for healthcare professionals. Now second subheading includes 67% specialists, 33% GPs, 300 Indian doctors were included in this survey. So we have written 300 Indian doctors with 10 years experience, ranged across tier 1 and tier 2 cities in India. Now the fifth heading is findings of the team, subheading 76% of US doctors, and then we have written subheadings also if you want to give additional point, like personal interaction plus tablet use. We have written the symbol also. We can give uh, the meaning of this symbol in our key to abbreviation. Now Indian doctors, again we have added two subheadings here: face to face detailing with tablets, meeting in clinics. Okay, C subheading smartphone for keeping medical information. Now sixth subheading findings of the drug companies, like they are encouraging people to switch to emails, websites, uh, apps. Indian doctors, half of the world uses. Okay, the most preferred device is laptops by the doctors. Now we have written the key to abbreviation also, like we have abbreviated messaging, medical representatives, MRs, healthcare professionals, HCPs, general practitioners, GPs, plus. So it is an abbreviation for plus, information, info. Now after you have written your notes, whatever you have written in your notes, you have write that in your summary. And remember, your notes that are incomprehensible for others, like maybe when I was reading these notes to you, because these notes are made by me according to my choices of points and my choices of phrases and words, it might be incomprehensible for you. Incomprehensible means you were not able to understand them. That's quite okay. That is perfectly all right. Okay, because when you write notes, only you can understand them because you have written them with the choice of your phrases and your words and your abbreviations. So it is quite possible. And as I said earlier, that in notes we do not write complete sentences. So definitely these lines don't mean a complete sense. So when you are reading them in isolation, you don't understand them. But remember that famous dialogue of Salman Khan, my notes are my notes, not your notes. So if you want to understand, you make your own notes. Okay. But this is not the thing with the summary. In summary, we write in nutshell whatever we have written in notes in proper sentences. Indian doctors, like those in the US, Japan, and China, prefer digital usage during patient interaction. Among HCPs, okay, here also uh, we have used one abbreviation here. Among HCPs, 90% showed a preference for digital uses while engaging with patients for follow-up. Also, 60% of doctors demand digital uses by medical representatives of drug companies. The Indigene Company's survey of 300 Indian doctors with decade-long experience in Tier 1 and 2 cities showed a preference for tablets during patient contact and smartphones for keeping information. Drug companies found that half of the digital users were Indian doctors and their preferred gadget was laptops. So this was an example of note making. We took up a passage and I showed you how to write notes, and we followed the procedure discussed in the first video of note making. And as I told you earlier, that in first go you do not become an expert. If you want to become an expert of note making, practice, practice, and practice. And to start that streak of practice, I'll be sending you a PDF file with a passage for making notes on it. Thank you very much. Happy learning from home.